The video you are about to see is the first to have been produced by Pontardawe Community Council. What for me is special about this video is the way that it has brought together so many individuals and local and national organisations, many of whom have appeared before the camera for the first time, but all of whom have been so willing to play their part in the making of this video that it has made it a complete pleasure. The part also of Morrison Hospital television service has been very special, with close on 70 locations for filming, ranging between Aberystwyth and Swansea. This has been a major test of its patience and expertise. The aim of the video is to publicise the work of the Community Council. The video opens with general shots of Pontardawe, the town with the village atmosphere. But the way of life of this town is under threat, from local government reorganisation and the increasing centralisation of power and the loss of the sense of locality, and from the return to the chaos of the 19th century, the free market approach. And the video asks the question, as more and more power is concentrated at Westminster and Brussels, is there a risk we will lose our sense of identity, of community and even of nationhood? And how does the Council respond to such threats? By asserting, first of all, the Welshness of the area through the language and culture, by supporting local organisations and providing locally based services, by preserving the history of the area and caring for the environment, and by campaigning on local issues to help improve the quality of life in the locality. Now, if this video challenges you to think about your town, about your sense of identity, it will have been worthwhile. If it makes you feel like doing something about it, then that will be a bonus.
Hello, I'm Robert Jones. Having been born and brought up in a small Swansea Valley village of Trebanos, I am proud to say that my achievements on the rugby field and the opportunities that have arisen as a result of playing for my country are largely due to the support that I've had from my family, the local rugby club and school where I started playing the game, and the community in which I lived. This video aims not only to publicise the work of Pontardawe Community Council, but also to celebrate community life in Wales, in all that that means for the Welsh language, Welsh culture and Welsh sport. I wish Pontardawe Community Council well for the project and much success in its work on our behalf.
This is our town, Pontardawe. Ponty, to the people who know it well. A valley town with a strong Welsh tradition. A town set between the rolling hills of the Brecon Beacons National Park to the north and the rugged beauty of the Gower Peninsula to the south. It is the product of the Industrial Revolution, and it is proud of its working class culture. It is a town of striking contrasts, yet a town where people feel they naturally belong, like members of a large family. On the face of it, a hodgepodge of a town, straddling a busy crossroads. But for Ponty people, nothing could be further from the truth. Pontardawe is essentially a town with a village atmosphere. A village atmosphere which is founded on its unique sense of community and an awareness of its local identity and individuality. Peter Hain, the Member of Parliament for the area, holds regular surgeries at the community hall. He explains what the Welsh way of life means to him and how he feels it is under attack.
I feel I'm very privileged as an outsider representing a community such as Pontardawe and indeed the whole of the Swansea Valley, because there is still a very strong sense of community and care for each other, which is, I think, a distinctive feature of the Welsh Valley way of life that has been lost in the big cities of England and elsewhere. And this way of life is under attack all the time by cuts in services, by unemployment, by attacks on local government. And what we have to do is fight to preserve it. What I also think we have to do is fight to preserve the strength of the language, which has over the years been very much part of the community's life and needs to be supported in terms of local Welsh schools, in terms of equal opportunities, and backed up by the force of law. And I think we have to go back to our roots, and no better place to go back to than a community such as this.
For local government purposes, Pontardawe is part of a wider community, which includes the villages of Rhydefro, Trebanos and Ynys Maiddwy. Together, they form Pontardawe Community Council, which is one of 15 such councils in the borough of Lliw Valley. The council is affiliated to both the National Association of Local Councils, which, though based in London, has a local county structure, and the Wales Association of Community and Town Councils. The associations also offer unlimited advice on any subject involving the council and relevant matters affecting its area. They publish magazines and newsletters and organise training days for clerks and councillors on the work of councils and the wider issues of local government.
The Wales Association of Community and Town Councils is unique. It's the only autonomous local government association which has its headquarters in Wales. We exist to further the interests of community and town councils in Wales as such, because the pattern in Wales is different from the pattern in England. We represent community and town councils, which are the only remaining aspect of truly local government. We are veritably the grassroots of local government, and the danger today is that so-called local government is going farther and farther away from the people who elect these local institutions.
One of the ways the council is responding to the threat to village life and the sense of community identity is by providing locally based services for local groups, like the Mothers and Toddlers Group, which meets at Ynys Maiddwy Community Hall.
Well, people from the community can come here, and anyone can come to the community hall, and we hold this twice a week, so there's plenty of choice of time for mothers when they can come, and it's not as much of the community spirit down in the leisure centre, especially you wouldn't get as many mothers probably going down there. It's further away from the village itself, so everyone tends to come here. I mean, we hold birthday parties and everything here. There's lots of things the hall is actually used for.
In the Swansea Valley, rugby is not just a game of football. It is more a way of life. The council is helping keep rugby alive in the village by allowing the club the free use of Trebanos Park. It has also decided to offer the club a long-term lease on the ground, ensuring a secure future, and has helped fund major ground improvements.
I think on the cold and it's a frosty night tonight, it's not wet, thank goodness, but we've got 20 odd out here tonight now, and obviously there's some camaraderie as well, and they want to be identified with Trebanos. It's the local club, and they want to do well and play for the club.
As well as providing facilities for parents and children, the council appreciates the contribution that grandparents and great-grandparents have to make to the stability of the community. The senior citizens of Trebanos meet at the Trebanos Community Hall. The chairman of the association, Mr. Glyn Jenkins, talks about the hall and what it means to his members to meet every week.
Well, we've got something different every week, and they're looking forward for a Wednesday to come here to break the monotony of the week. And we've got a wonderful crowd. It's a wonderful hall, and they thoroughly enjoy it. And the best thing that the community council done, was to buy this hall and put it at the disposal of the village, not only the OAP.
And you've got some very nice facilities as well.
We have one of the best. We have good facilities here, and there's no complaints up to now about it.
Pontardawe Community Council prides itself on being a caring council, but it also aims to be a careful council when it comes to the way it manages its spending. And this is where it applies a strict value-for-money policy. The clerk to the council, Mrs. A.D. Howells, explains.
Not all community councils have a paid chief officer. It depends to a great degree on the size of the authority, which can vary greatly. The very small community councils are usually run by one councillor who cannot be paid to do the job, through to very much larger authorities who often employ a chief officer, solicitor and treasurer, either part-time or full-time, together with a number of sundry staff, for example, groundsmen, park keepers, hall cleaners and handymen, again some part-time and some full-time. Pontardawe Community Council is situated in the middle of this wide scale, employing a part-time chief officer, part-time cleaners and a handyman.
Over the years, the council has formed a valuable link with the local civic society. It has helped the society undertake a number of worthwhile projects, which the chairman of the society, Mr. Gwyn Davis, now describes.
The Civic Society itself was formed way back in 1980 or thereabouts, and some of the projects that they have been concerned with are those three which you mentioned. This one behind us is the Beacon Europe project. It was supposed to be the final fling of the British presidency, which we left, as it were, behind the European Common Market, and we became a European unity. A tremendous thing. Beacons were lit all over Europe. This was coordinated in Pontardawe by the Civic Society, and we collected a large amount of money, of which, of course, we were glad to receive a very substantial contribution from the Community Council. Well, here we are at Caer Pandi. This is a little park which we thought up about 10 years ago. This used to be the site of a gas holder, a huge gas holder, and a parish council dump, really. But we had it cleared, and we collected some money, and we planted flowers, and we have got children involved. All sorts of societies were involved. The Community Council supported. And of course, I think in the spring it's a very beautiful little park. Unfortunately, we couldn't maintain it as we would like, but the Lliw Valley Borough Council, thankfully, are taking it over now and will maintain it in the future. And behind that, of course, you see the wonderful St. Peter's Tower. Our project then was to light up that tower, and I'm sure that most people in South Wales have seen it by now. It was a great project and cost a lot of money, but there we are. The money came in. We were again supported by the Community Council, but it was a great deal of money and very successfully carried out.
From whichever direction you approach Pontardawe, St. Peter's Church, with its magnificent spire, dominates the skyline. It is a reminder that Pontardawe has a strong religious tradition, and the council is committed to playing its part in the spiritual life of the community. The vicar of Pontardawe, the Reverend David Jenkins, had this to say.
St. Peter's, as you know, is illuminated at night. The funding for the lighting came through the Civic Society here in Pontardawe, and we use this now as a means of fundraising for the church. We're grateful to the Society for making all this possible. Our smallest church is Llangyuk, which is not in the village itself, but up on the adjacent hill overlooking the town. We had great problems here from vandalism because it is an isolated building out in the countryside. In fact, 2 years ago, most of the roof was stolen. Getting funds to replace a roof like that has been very difficult. We've had various appeals around, and we've been very grateful for the response both from the community itself and also from various bodies who've been able to help us. Among these, of course, have been our Community Council, who gave a very substantial donation towards the re-roofing, and also we were able to have support from the West Glamorgan County Council Historic Buildings Fund.
Council also feels that it is the representative of grassroots opinion in the community, and that it has a natural role to play in speaking out on local issues.
Trebanos Primary School, Ysgol Gynradd Trebanos, is a traditional Welsh primary school, ysgol draddodiadol Gymraeg. For over 100 years, it has served the needs of the children of Trebanos. Yet, the doors of its buildings have closed, and what was a happy, bustling playground is now silent. The school has been forced to move out of Trebanos because of the geological problems and fears for the safety of the children. The children are now being bused to Clydach, where they have temporary accommodation at the former teacher centre. Trebanos needs its village school and it must be relocated in Trebanos, not in Clydach. Losing its village school is a nail in the coffin of a community. What next? The village post office? The shop? The chapel? Pontardawe Community Council is wholeheartedly behind the community of Trebanos in wanting a school back at Trebanos and is prepared to help campaign on its behalf to see that primary education returns to the village where it belongs.
The council has also spoken out on the effect of the local foundry on the residents of Thomas Street and George Street and on the pupils of the nearby Welsh school. It has campaigned for the provision of public toilets in the Summerfield food store and regularly monitors heavy lorry movements through the town in terms of environmental pollution and road safety matters. Council has supported the Use It or Lose It campaign of village post offices, and members represent its interests as governors of local primary schools. The threat facing the future of village life comes not only from the effects of changes in society at large. It also comes from changes that are about to take place in the way local government is presently organised, and what might possibly be seen as a return to the policies of Adam Smith, the 19th century economist, who believed that each man should be allowed to follow his own interest, and that the state should not interfere. The so-called free market approach of today, with private enterprise taking control of our public services. Will the reorganisation of local government lead to more or less local democracy? More or less accountability? More or less of a sense of individuality and identity? And is history repeating itself? Will private enterprise lead once again to the chaos that bedevilled local government in the 19th century? How long will it be before this land of song has to sing for its supper?
Good morning, it's the Lliw Valley Borough Council. Can I help you?
For better or for worse, the three-tier system of local government we have at present, with its county, district and community councils, has become an accepted part of all our lives. Granted, it has its problems, but there again, no system is perfect. The government believes that the present system is not widely understood, and it contains within it a potential for friction between authorities, for duplication of administration, and therefore the failure to deliver services economically, efficiently and effectively. For the government, the right way forward for Wales is to build upon the 1974 reforms by establishing a system of unitary authorities, which, it claims, will promote local democracy through greater accountability. Yet of the 45 county and district councils that presently exist, all are to be scrapped, and their work will be done by just 21 new super councils. Such a move must mean that with fewer councils and fewer councillors, local government will become less local. The government claims that there will be significant savings in the operating cost of some local government services as a result of the introduction of unitary authorities. Is this part of an unrelenting trend in the country towards the centralisation of power in Westminster, measuring success in terms of the cost and seeking to promote the so-called corporate identity, which leads to conformity